They're the videos that shocked the nation.
We need limbs, but no hands and feet need to be attached.
Who does this? What civilized culture does this?
Would you call that intact?
These are intact kidneys, yes.
Are they selling body parts?
This has become selling while pretending not to sell.
Or worse?
Are you accusing some of these doctors of murder?
And will it change the debate about abortion in this country?
So I've been screaming about this for, 30 years now.
Will supporters fight back?
I will continue to fight for and uphold a woman's right to choose, including defending Planned Parenthood.
Fox News reporting. Planned Parenthood, the hidden harvest. From Washington, D.C., Shannon Bream.
They call themselves investigative journalists, but the tactics they employ would probably get them fired in most newsrooms. Still, as guerrilla fighters in the cultural war, David Daleiden and the people who worked at his Center for Medical Progress have made the front pages. And the videos they've released, shedding light on the hidden side of a market in fetal parts, have got everyone talking. Before we continue, a warning. Some viewers may find the material in this program disturbing.
Very good at getting parts on liver because we know that, so I'm not going to crush that part. I'm going to basically crush below, I'm going to crush above, and I'm going to see if I get it intact.
This is Dr. Deborah Nucatola, Planned Parenthood's Senior Director of Medical Services, discussing how her organization
They're the videos that shocked the nation.
We need limbs, but no hands and feet need to be attached.
Who does this? What civilized culture does this?
Would you call that intact?
These are intact kidneys, yes.
Are they selling body parts?
This has become selling while pretending not to sell.
Or worse?
Are you accusing some of these doctors of murder?
And will it change the debate about abortion in this country?
So I've been screaming about this for, 30 years now.
Will supporters fight back?
I will continue to fight for and uphold a woman's right to choose, including defending Planned Parenthood.
Fox News reporting. Planned Parenthood, the hidden harvest. From Washington, D.C., Shannon Bream.
They call themselves investigative journalists, but the tactics they employ would probably get them fired in most newsrooms. Still, as guerrilla fighters in the cultural war, David Daleiden and the people who worked at his Center for Medical Progress have made the front pages. And the videos they've released, shedding light on the hidden side of a market in fetal parts, have got everyone talking. Before we continue, a warning. Some viewers may find the material in this program disturbing.
Very good at getting parts on liver because we know that, so I'm not going to crush that part. I'm going to basically crush below, I'm going to crush above, and I'm going to see if I get it intact.
This is Dr. Deborah Nucatola, Planned Parenthood's Senior Director of Medical Services, discussing how her organization helps ensure aborted fetuses can be properly harvested for medical research.
The $30 to $100 price, that's per specimen that we're talking about, right? Yeah.
Yes.
On July 14th, the video seemed to come out of nowhere to shock America. But it was the culmination of years of work for 26-year-old David Daleiden. Daleiden had been a pro-life activist in high school. The message beneath his high school senior picture, vote pro-life. It's what God wants you to do. In college, he joined Live Action, a pro-life group headed by another millennial activist, Lila Rose. Let's talk about Live Action, really the precursor to a lot of what we're seeing today.
So starting investigative work at Live Action was really because I saw just this complete lack of discussion about what was really happening at Planned Parenthood and in the abortion industry. The only thing that you would hear is something positive about how Planned Parenthood is helpful to women.
I was the director of research for Live Action from about 2008 to 2013. So in that capacity, I helped construct most of the undercover projects that they did. I'm definitely really proud of the work that we did together.
3 years ago, Rose and Daleiden collaborated on a sting that sounds awfully familiar. A woman posing as a donor to Planned Parenthood began asking questions about federal funding for abortions. Questions so suspicious that Planned Parenthood set up a surveillance camera to catch her next visit. The tape ended up in the hands of California Attorney General Kamala Harris. No charges were filed, but the sting was exposed. For Daleiden, it was a valuable learning experience.
I think we developed a lot of really novel and kind of pioneering investigative journalism approaches, especially with this issue in particular.
Daleiden and Rose parted ways not long after the failed sting. Daleiden had a new idea, a covert operation looking into the buying and selling of fetal tissue. One of the people he called was Troy Newman, the controversial leader of anti-abortion group Operation Rescue.
Save these babies from certain death.
It was a very interesting, elaborate sting operation. Did you counsel him on that?
I can't walk into a Planned Parenthood. I've been in the pro-life movement for over 25 years. They will surely recognize me. But here's this young, very bright, very courageous, very faithful young man mapping out this idea. And so we hit it off very, very well, and we began discussing all the various techniques that he would have to use in order to infiltrate Planned Parenthood.
Did you all at that point start having planning sessions or discussions about how he would carry out something that had to be a disciplined, very long-term operation?
What we wanted to do was to catch them off script. What do abortionists say when they're just having lunch over salad and a glass of wine? That was the idea. So alternate identities had to be set up, alternate companies had to be set up.
So Daleiden founded the Center for Medical Progress, or CMP.
It is one of these vague sounding names, but could mean many things.
CMP was started as a 501c3 charitable trust, but Daleiden also founded a dummy for-profit company called Biomax Procurement Services. He enlisted people to represent Biomax.
These are people, whoever you have posing as the buyers, who clearly have in-depth medical understanding and education, it seems like.
Center for Medical Progress chose very intelligent, creative, adaptable people to do this work. And there was a lot of really intensive training and preparation that went into preparing them to actually go undercover.
You've got to be able to talk like them. You have to know the information sometimes better than they do. They had to be very well versed in medical technology, medical terminology, the medical procedures, anatomy, and so forth.
How did you all come up with the 21st century technology to walk into these places, to be able to record these conversations in a way that you felt was reliable?
It's as simple as a Google search and a credit card. The equipment that we were talking about was high quality law enforcement type equipment. It's not going to fail at the critical moment.
With everything in place, the infiltration proceeded more smoothly than expected.
It was definitely surprising to myself and to some of the other investigators on the team that when our investigators basically said two things to Planned Parenthood representatives. Number one, we love abortion, we think what you do is great, thank you. And number two, we want to harvest your baby parts and sell them and pay you money in exchange for that. Those two statements were like the magic words that got us in the door. And Planned Parenthood was happy to welcome one more biotech company to the table to harvest and sell baby parts.
Yeah, well, good we're finally able to connect. I know it's been difficult.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before too long, Daleiden found himself in a big meeting at a posh LA bistro with Dr. Nucatola, who we saw earlier.
They want to break even. And if they can do a little better than break even and do so in a way that, seems reasonable, they're happy to do it.
Overall, Daleiden says his group shot about 300 hours of video. The entire project had taken 2.5 years, but Daleiden was finally ready on July 14th to make public his undercover work.
There are no guidelines.
Not written.
Yeah, there are guidelines on research, but there are not guidelines on tissue procurement.
Okay.
And there will never be guidelines.
Dr. Nucatola also said that when possible, she would help facilitate the procurement of specific fetal tissue during the actual abortion procedure.
I'll actually collect what you want sometimes.
Oh, you actually do the...
If I see it.
You do the collection, yeah.
Why not? It's
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I don't know, it makes the procedure that much better. Like, I've just done something even better. If you maintain enough of the dialogue to the person that's actually doing the procedures, they understand what the end game is.
The video caused a firestorm. We should note that we tried repeatedly to get Planned Parenthood to respond on camera to the controversy. The organization and several of its surrogates declined our invitation. However, the first video did prompt an immediate public response from the president of Planned Parenthood, Cecile Richards.
I want to be really clear. The allegation that Planned Parenthood profits in any way from tissue donation is not true. Our donation programs, like any other high-quality healthcare providers, follows all laws and ethical guidelines.
But it was only the first video. Daleiden and the Center for Medical Progress were just getting warmed up.
So in the second video that we released, that's a lunch meeting with Dr. Mary Gatter, who for a long time was the medical director of Planned Parenthood Los Angeles.
Figure out what others are getting, and if this is in the ballpark, and that's fine. If it's still low, then we can talk about it. I want them to be more.
Dr. Gatter was actually haggling over the compensation price that a middleman biotech company should be paying to her Planned Parenthood affiliate in exchange for intact fetal specimens.
Using a less crunchy technique to get more whole specimens.
I want to go back to your most basic statement, is that they are selling body parts. Again, they say there's no direct evidence of that, that there are repeated times during these videos that we've seen so far that the doctors talk about this not being about revenue, this not being about selling, that they make that clear, and that there's nothing so far that you have released that proves that they've broken any federal laws.
At the end of the day, money goes in to Planned Parenthood and baby parts come out. If you look at what they're actually doing and how their business is actually structured, it becomes clear that they're profiting off of the sale of the body parts of the babies that they abort.
Planned Parenthood was now on the defensive, but the next video Daleiden released was to many the most shocking yet.